Hi everyone, my name is Nuria and this is my sewing journey, and for today's video we're going to be looking into trouser leg lines. We've talked a lot in this channel about trousers, what foundations we have, how many waistlines we can draw, what the styles are, a lot of things. So today we're going to be looking into this last modification, that is the silhouette of your legs. As always, these modifications can be done in any of the foundations that I've been talking about, the culottes, the trousers, the slacks or the jeans, but depending on which one you choose, you'll see more difference or less. So in my examples, I use the jeans foundation. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the trouser levels. I'm talking about the basic ones that you're going to find on the books. But of course, you can cut your trousers at whatever length and call them whatever you want, to be honest. First one up are short shorts or micro shorts, how I call them. And these are cut 4 centimeters above the crotch level at the back and 4 centimeters below crotch level at the front. To this pattern, you'll have to do some modifications and extend the crotch length by lowering the crotch level, or otherwise it's going to be uncomfortable when you wear it. The second one are the shorts, and these are cut 5 centimeters below the crotch line. After that, you have the Jamaica, that it's halfway between the crotch level and your knee level. And as I was saying, this is just a standard because for me, for example, the Jamaica is too long and the shorts are too short. So I find something in between the shorts and the Jamaica and I still call them shorts. Next one up is the Bermuda. This one is halfway between the Jamaica and your knee level. Then we have the pedal pusher, that is 5 centimeters below your knee level. Next one up is the Toreador. It's halfway between your knee and your ankle. Then the Capri length, which is 2.5 centimeters above your ankle. Then you have the ankle length, that is normally just below your ankle bone. And finally, you have the floor length, which is between 2 and 5 centimeters from the floor when you're wearing your shoes on. As I said, you can get any foundation and cut it any length you want. And then the last thing you have to define is your hem width. So let's say you have your pants and you want to cut it on your knee level. Then you can choose, okay, is that width that I had before good for me, or do I want to make it a bit bigger, or do I want to make it a little bit smaller? Normally what I've seen, when you shorten your pattern, normally you taper a little bit the design. And for what I've seen, the shorter they are, the less you taper, and the longer they are, the more you taper. But again, this depends on if you like these kind of designs or if you just want straight jeans. You know what I mean? Now that we have the length, let's focus again on the long pants and let's define how your leg silhouette is going to look like. We can differentiate between 4 different designs: slim, straight, tapered, and flared. Slim one is the one we're normally taught when drafting our pattern, and it's the one that follows the silhouette of your body. You can follow it more or less, but it's basically you have your hip line and then it becomes smaller until your knee line, and then it becomes even smaller around your ankle line. This design is normally used when you want to get rid of fabric below your buttocks. Next one is tapered. What this means is that you create a line from your hip line until your ankle length. So you do not follow the silhouette of your body, but you just draw that straight line. This is going to add some extra fabric on your legs, and depending on the design you want, maybe you're not interested in that, but it might be more comfortable than the slim version, for example. It's also important to remember that every foundation has its different designs. So if you remember, the trouser foundation doesn't go under the buttocks, but the slack foundation and the jean foundation do go round around the buttocks. So I think for the culotte and for the trousers, you're not going to see a lot of difference if you choose the tapered design, but if you choose it for the jeans or the slacks, you're going to see more of a difference. Next one up is the straight version. This one is the easiest and it's really trendy right now. And what it means is that from the crotch level and from the hip level, you just draw 2 lines that are perpendicular to your hip level down, and that's going to be the width of your knee level, and that's going to be the width of your ankle level. It's the easiest thing to pattern in the world, and they are very comfortable, let me tell you. And last but not least, we have the flared version, which means that you just add some flare at the bottom of your pattern. So the hem circumference on your ankle or wherever your pants stop, you're going to add width to that. There's no standard way of saying where you should start the flare or how big the flare should be, but I divided my examples into three. One with the flare starting above the knee level, another one the flare starting at the knee level, and finally the last one starting at below the knee level. In my example, you can see how the leg line changes depending on which one we're talking about. For the one above the knee, I just added it 10 centimeters above it, and for the one below, I just added 10 centimeters below it. So it's not that much of a difference, but it gives you such a different silhouette. I think it's really interesting. And another thing you can do also is choose if you want to curve the hem or if you don't want to curve the hem. In my example here, you can see one where I curved it and another one that I didn't curve it. And at the beginning from the front, you cannot see a big difference. But I think when you go on the side or at the back is when you start seeing more of a difference. I think it's a very subtle thing you can do and it really makes a difference. Okay, now we've talked about the designs, but you might be thinking, I want to add flare. How should I do it? I've got you covered. As I said, there's no standard way of saying where your flare should start, so you are the one that has to choose where you want it to start depending on what kind of silhouette you want. Another thing you should have is your trouser foundation drawn until your ankle line, because we're going to get that foundation and we're going to add 2.5 centimeters to the length of our pants. Then we're going to find the middle of your pants, so that's going to be defined by your crease line, and we're going to add whatever length you want. What I did in my example, and I think it's a very easy way to start and add flare from there, it's just I measured how big my shoe was and I just added this length. So my shoe was 30 centimeters and I added 15 centimeters to one side and 15 centimeters to the other side. As easy as that. And with that, you draw a line from where you want your flare to start until this added length and width, and you add a slight curve to make sure that there's a 90-degree angle between this line that you've created and the bottom line of your pants. This is important because then when we add the front and back, we always need that 90-degree angle or the curve is going to be very weird and you'll have to fix it later. You have to do that for the front and the back, and there you go. Okay, and now you might think, what if I want a curved hem? I've also got you covered. For our curved length, we follow exactly the same procedure that I told you right now, but we're going to do something different for the front and for the back. For the back, we're going to add 2 centimeters extra to our length, and we're going to add that curve to be on that 2 centimeters added. And for the front, we're going to reduce 1.5 centimeters and we're going to make sure that the curve is there. So you reduce at the front and you add at the back, and when you add them together, it's just this nice curve that never ends. And that's it. With this, we close the trouser chapter once and for all. If I come up with new ways of modifying your pattern, I'll let you know, but for now I'll get it as closed, and that's it. I hope you learned a lot and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!